Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chonzam. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 25th of March. India enters total lockdown to curb coronavirus spread. Top U.S. Commander Miller reaffirms support to Afghan forces. And Bangladesh releases jailed former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. And now for all the details. India began its 3-week lockdown for coronavirus amid rapid spread on Wednesday, a day after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi called for a 21-day nationwide lockdown, asserting that this is necessary for a decisive battle against the pandemic. Most roads, airports and public places wore a deserted look following the lockdown. India began its 3-week lockdown for coronavirus amid rapid spread on Wednesday. Most roads, airports and public places wore a deserted look following the national-wide lockdown. This came after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi called for a 21-day nationwide lockdown from Tuesday night, asserting that this is necessary for a decisive battle against the coronavirus outbreak. Modi said the decision will have an economic cost, but saving people's lives is of the paramount interest to his government. India has recorded more than 560 positive cases of coronavirus so far and reported 11 deaths.
आज तो बहुत ही सुनसान पड़ा है, कुछ दिखाई नहीं दे रहा, तो मन भी काफ़ी ख़राब है लोगों का, कुछ काम करने के लिए है नहीं। पहले हलचल होती थी, यहाँ पे रश होता था काफ़ी, अब तो बिल्कुल सन्नाटा छाया हुआ है। आप भी देख रहे हो इधर उधर कुछ भी नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, तो बहुत बुरा लग रहा है कि हमारे देश में पूरे वर्ल्ड में ये है, तो काफ़ी ये बीमारी है और इससे ये हालात हुए हैं जिससे सब लोग परेशान हैं।
During the lockdown period, all non-essential businesses will be closed, but essential services like groceries, hospitals, pharmacies and banks will continue to function as normal. Police were seen barricading roads and stopping vehicles to restrict people's movement. People were also seen maintaining social distancing, the only way out for the country in its decisive battle against the coronavirus.
एसेंशियल चीज़ तो यहाँ पर आराम से उपलब्ध है और पीएम मोदी जी ने जो भी बोला है वो हम लोगों की भलाई और हम लोगों के स्वास्थ्य के लिए बोला हुआ है, तो वो हम लोगों को वो चीज़ें फॉलो करनी चाहिए।
India has already issued a ban on international arrivals and grounded domestic flights. The country's rail network has also suspended most passenger services to battle the coronavirus pandemic. In news from Afghanistan, top U.S. Commander General Scott Miller has reaffirmed the resolute support's commitment and support for Afghan security forces at the time when the United States has reduced its financial assistance to Afghanistan.
Commander of U.S. and NATO forces in Afghanistan, General Scott Miller, has reaffirmed the resolute support's commitment and support for Afghan security forces at the time when the United States has reduced its financial assistance to Afghanistan. Miller on Tuesday held a video conference with senior Afghan national and defense security forces in which he discussed Taliban violence levels and COVID-19 prevention, a statement by the NATO mission said. The remarks came as U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo visited Kabul on Monday to resolve the lingering political standoff in the country to move the Afghan peace process forward, but failed to reach a deal between President Ghani and his rival Abdullah. Pompeo, in a post-visit, hard-hitting statement criticized both leaders for their failure to come to an agreement. Pompeo then also announced immediate reduction of $1 billion in assistance for Afghanistan and threatened to cut another $1 billion in 2021. Ashraf Ghani and Abdullah have shown no signs of ending the dispute over the president's post till date. Both the leaders held competing presidential inaugurations earlier this month, paralyzing governance in Afghanistan and threatening the peace-building pact between Washington and the Taliban.
Afghanistan is witnessing a rise in its number of COVID-19 cases day by day, with its western Herat province being the worst hit. The country's health minister has cited estimates saying that half of Afghanistan's population may become infected with the fast-spreading disease. Afghanistan has so far confirmed over 70 positive cases and 1 death. Afghan Health Ministry on Tuesday announced 32 new cases of the coronavirus in Western Herat province, a major gateway from neighbouring Iran, taking the total cases to over 70 in Afghanistan. The Ministry of Public Health has cited estimates saying that half of Afghanistan's population may become infected with the fast-spreading coronavirus. Public Health Minister Firozuddin Firoz has said that if the necessary measures are taken, the risk of getting the virus will be reduced. Otherwise, based on these predictions, more than 100,000 Afghan citizens are likely to be affected from the virus. Afghanistan recorded its first death from COVID-19 over the past weekend, but the country has conducted fewer tests and has so far imposed fewer restrictions despite sharing a long porous border with Iran, where the disease has killed nearly 2,000 people. In recent weeks, the return of tens of thousands of Afghans from Iran has raised fears about the possible spread of the pandemic in Afghanistan. The country has closed all educational institutions and reduced office hours, and the authorities have imposed a nominal ban on large gatherings. Moving on, unemployment continues to be a major concern for the youth of Pakistan-administered Kashmir. To highlight the plight, Tehreek-e-Naujawan Party in the press conference recently called on the Pakistan administration to take initiatives to boost the region's tourism sector and generate employment opportunities for youth.
A press conference to raise concerns over unemployment among the youth of Pakistan-administered Kashmir was recently organized in the illegally occupied region. Members of the Tehreek-e-Naujawan organization called on the Pakistan government to take necessary initiatives and generate employment opportunities for youth. They said despite having potential, youth face difficulties in finding suitable jobs and are forced to move outside their homeland in search of work.
साथ साथ हम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान से, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ आज़ाद कश्मीर से और जो यहाँ के जिम्मेदारान हैं, जो पॉलिसी साज हैं, उनसे हम राब्ते में हैं और हम उनको ये रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि यहाँ कुछ इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज़ की जाएं जिससे यूथ की एम्प्लॉयमेंट का जो सबसे बड़ा जो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट का एक मसला है उसको हल किया जाए.
During the conference, members of Tehreek-e-Naujawan also urged the authorities to use the region's natural beauty, saying it can increase tourism in the illegally occupied region. Tourism sector in the region has failed to realize its true potential under the Pakistan's occupation.
इसकी जो नेचुरल ब्यूटी है उसको इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है और इसमें मैं ये समझता हूँ कि इतना हमारे पास रेवेन्यू आ सकता है कि हमारी बहुत बड़ी आबादी, हमारी जो यूथ जो मुल्क से बाहर जाके वो जॉब करने पे मजबूर है, तो उससे ज़्यादा बेहतर यहाँ अपने घर में रहते हुए उनके मामलात हल हो सकते हैं. लेकिन
Pakistan's administered Kashmir, a part of the erstwhile princely state of India's Jammu and Kashmir, was illegally occupied by Pakistan decades ago. The region ranks among the poorest and underdevelopment areas in the country, and people continue to reel under poverty.
In news from Bangladesh, Bangladesh on Wednesday released jailed former Prime Minister and main opposition leader Khaleda Zia for 6 months with certain conditions on humanitarian grounds.
Bangladesh will suspend the jail sentence of its ailing former Prime Minister and leader of main opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party, Khaleda Zia, and release her for a period of 6 months, the nation's law minister Anisul Haq said on Tuesday. The government decided to release Khaleda in response to appeals from her family. We have decided to release her on humanitarian grounds as per the instructions of the Prime Minister, Law Minister Anisul Haq said at the media briefing. The Law Ministry has sent the recommendation to the Interior Ministry for further action. 74-year-old Khaleda, who has twice been Prime Minister, has been in jail since she was convicted in a graft case in February 2018. Her health has been deteriorating for months and she was moved to hospital in April last year. Khaleda, who shares a long-standing rivalry with incumbent Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, was later convicted in a separate graft case following her initial conviction in early 2018. Her Bangladesh Nationalist Party says the cases were fabricated and aimed at keeping her away from politics.
Himalayan nation Nepal reported that third person has tested positive for coronavirus in capital Kathmandu on Wednesday. Nepal till date has tested 687 samples, out of which 3 turned out to be positive while 684 samples turned out to be negative. The first person among the 3 has been recovered. One more person has tested positive for the coronavirus infection in Nepal's capital Kathmandu on Wednesday, days after the second case was confirmed on Monday. This brings the Nepal tally for COVID-19 to 3 confirmed cases. Rajesh Kumar Gupta, Information Officer at National Public Health Laboratory in Nepal, confirmed the case and said that the patient is currently under isolation at Sukraraj Tropical Infectious Hospital. However, among the 3 who tested positive, the first person has recovered. Nepal till date has tested 687 samples, out of which 3 turned out to be positive, while 684 samples turned out to be negative. Nepal went under a 7-day lockdown on Tuesday, a day after the central government issued the order in a bid to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus in the Himalayan nation. The lockdown will remain in force till March 31st. Nepal has closed all entry points with India and China. The government had earlier announced the closure of shopping malls, markets and other places of recreational activities till April 30 in the wake of coronavirus outbreak. The government has also set up a helpline to address queries about coronavirus and share information on the developing situation of the infection in the country. The 90-long Hindu fasting festival of Chet Navratri, dedicated to the Hindu goddess of power Durga, began on Wednesday, but not as grand as each year, as temples wore a deserted look owing to the nationwide shutdown for 3 weeks. The lull has, however, failed to dampen the spirit of devotees. Temples in India laid barren on the first day of the 9-day-long Hindu fasting festival of Chet Navratri, which is dedicated to the Hindu goddess of power Durga, as the country began its 3-week lockdown to combat coronavirus. Temples across various cities, which are usually bustling and are packed with a sea of devotees every year, looked abandoned due to the lockdown. The 9-day fasting festival of Navratri is celebrated with much fervour across India. However, the devotees are dismayed with lockdown, which has dampened the spirit of the Hindu festival.
चैत्र नवरात्र आज से प्रारंभ हो चुके हैं। ये जो भक्त खड़े हैं सब आसपास से आए हैं। जैसा मोदी जी ने ऐलान किया, कंप्लीट लॉकडाउन, भक्तों का कोई यहाँ पे जमावड़ा नहीं। जो 4-5 भक्त आप देख रहे हैं, ये सब आसपास के यही प्रार्थना करने कि हे माता रानी, इस जो महामारी है इससे देश को मुक्ति मिले।
Defying the lockdown and keeping faith above everything, some devotees were still seen visiting the temples in Amritsar and Varanasi city to offer prayers. Priests in western Mumbai city's famous Mumba Devi temple performed rituals within closed doors to mark the beginning of the festival and prayed for the eradication of the coronavirus epidemic.
माँ मुम्मा देवी से नैमित्तिक रूप से प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं, हे भगवती, इस जगत में महामारी से बचाव करना और जो ये महामारी फैली है उसका जल्दी से जल्दी इसी नवरात्रि में निवारण हो।
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday announced a complete lockdown of 21 days to curb the spread of coronavirus. India has recorded 562 positive cases so far, with 11 deaths. Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. India enters total lockdown to curb coronavirus spread. Top U.S. Commander Miller reaffirms support to Afghan forces. And Bangladesh releases jailed former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.